Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Commissioner Elena Sanders. I'm going to give it a few minutes. How are you? Discussion today is Let's Talk Newton, Boys and Girls Club. Let's talk about it. That has been the topic of discussion. I'm not even in Georgia. I am in Houston, Texas for training, traveling with the National Association of Counties for the Safety and Justice Conference, and also with CORE, which is Criminal Justice Reform, where we, as 25 commissioners, judges from NACO, and then also the judges from all over, judges, sheriff deputies, district attorneys, all come together to talk about how we can battle criminal justice reform and all those various things, mental illness, all those things together, racism. And so the great thing about this conference is that it's 25 of us. I'm on three different networks. I'm on Facebook, Facebook pages, personal page. I'm on YouTube and I'm on Instagram. So I'm everywhere. So we're here. I'm currently here in Houston, Texas. I will be at the Board of Commissioners meeting tomorrow. I will be on via Zoom. But this conference was scheduled since 2023. And so I have the opportunity to be with 25 who were selected, 25 wonderful commissioners, where we actually come together and we talk about racism, how we can battle racism, how we can do criminal justice reform. We all are from various different backgrounds. We talk about housing and so forth. So we're here at the Safety and Justice Conference because we also are part of CORE with the National Association of Counties, where we talk about criminal justice reform. And so today I am in Houston, Texas. I'm in my hotel room, and I had to come on because I heard I wasn't at the forum today. I informed them that where I would be, and I've been hearing conversations. I heard that my opponent went to a HOA meeting and talked about the Boys and Girls Club, and I did something with the Boys and Girls Club and all those wonderful things. So we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to put it all on the table about the Boys and Girls Club. But first, I'm going to make sure, I think you guys can hear me, but I want to make sure. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions, because I can actually see your comments and questions. I can see them when they come in. If you're on Instagram, I can see your comments and questions. If you're on YouTube, I see it here. If you're on Facebook as well, I can see all your questions and I can see your comments. So let's talk. Let me make sure my sound is right. Give me a few seconds. I want to make sure I can hear it. Okay, so it's right. Okay. So let's talk. Let's chat. Let's talk about this Boys and Girls Club. As I stated earlier, I keep getting people asking me questions. Again, my opponent went to a HOA meeting on, I want to say that was Saturday. What's today? Monday, Saturday. I was not invited to the HOA meeting. I saw some of my District 3 District 3 community people at church asked me why I wasn't there. They also asked the HOA person who I guess did the invite why I wasn't there. And they said I could have showed up, but I said, how can I show up when I wasn't invited? She was like, what? I said, yeah, I wasn't invited. I didn't even know they had a meeting. And so I had other residents that attended. I think it was only like 15 people there. So, and then the forum was tonight. I wasn't able to attend the forum. And I'm hearing about this Boys and Girls Club. So the whole thing is, let's talk about this Boys and Girls Club. Let's put it all on the table. You know, I keep it real. I don't have a problem with keeping it real, and I'm going to tell you the real facts. So when I came in office in 2021, of course, I succeeded a 12-year incumbent, Nancy Schultz. There was a project for District 3. Every district had a project on the 2017 SPLOST where they had $495,000, go into their district. Every district, now mind you, every district spent their $495,000 except District 3. So you mean to tell me that every district was awarded funds and not District 3? So you saying that District 3 didn't have their own project, that our project is for the whole entire West Side? That is false. That is a lie from the pits of we know where. When I came in office, I was told by that county manager at the time and also the attorney at the time that this is a District 3 project, that the original location, which was located behind Live Oak Elementary, land donated by the Board of Education, was not feasible to build. So, Commissioner, it is in your hands. Okay. So I am the vice chair of the Public Facilities Committee, which you're going to see tomorrow as well. And Commissioner Mason is the chair. And so from that meeting, Commissioner Mason set up us to all those on the west side who had projects to meet with the county attorney and the county manager to discuss our projects. Okay. I get in the room. Okay. At that time, they were proposing Fairview Community Park land that is owned by the county. Okay. That land is not owned by the subdivision. It's owned by the county, and it's 12 acres of land. There's enough land to build. He said, we're going to move forward. That was a conversation. And I'm glad I got some of this in writing. With Fairview Community Park area owned by the county, 12 acres of land, because they only use like maybe a half an acre or an acre of land to build the little park that's there. And almost 10 acres remaining, almost not 10 acres is remaining left untouched, untamed land to build a community center, which will have not been in anyone's backyard. That was the whole case. Okay. And so I'm sitting down with the county manager and the county attorney. Okay. They said, we can move forward with this, Commissioner, and you're going to partner with the Boys and Girls Club, right? I said, no, I never said that. I never agreed to that. And so at that moment, when I said no, is when all hell broke loose. Okay. Let me tell you why I said no. I did not agree to that. It's because I not only spoke to residents, I spoke to teachers and administrators who said the Boys and Girls Club, they always want to throw it in the minority community, and it's not always effective, especially for these kids in this day and age. I had teachers, I had administrators, and I'm not going to call their names because I know how it is in Newton County when people retaliate and speak out, who said, we don't need a Boys and Girls Club here. We need something that's effective with programming that fits all of our youth in Newton County. That came from teachers and administrators. Not only that, I did surveys with the kids from the elementary to the middle to high school. And the kids told me themselves, they don't like the Boys and Girls Club. Let me put something in perspective for you. The Boys and Girls Club, originally here in Newton County, was located across one of the largest subdivisions in Newton County with a massive amount of children. I'm going to say that again. The Boys and Girls Club was located in an area across the street where they can walk the street right behind a school, actually on the schoolyard and land. Okay? A 5-phase subdivision, I think it's 4 or 5 phases, don't quote me on it, but it's a large subdivision called the Silos. If you could not pack the Boys and Girls Club when it's across the street from one of the largest subdivisions with kids, that's your answer. That is your answer. When you have to go across the street to subdivision and beg the kids to come, that's a problem. That has nothing to do with Commissioner Sanders. It has to do, it wasn't interesting to our kids here in Newton County. I never said that the Boys and Girls Club was not a great program. I even said it was wonderful for the Generation Xers because the programs haven't really changed. They may have added a little bit more the STEM in it, but it was great for those around my age. Okay. Now these kids, these centennials want something different. That's why I went to the kids and I talked to the kids. They did surveys. They wrote it down. This is data. I'm not speaking on just talking. This is data. And so the children said they did not want it. Not Commissioner Sanders. The children said they didn't want the Boys and Girls Club. Not only that, they outlined. I had a focus group session with children from the STEM Academy, from Newton High, all in the area. I went to the middle schools and I talked to the elementary administrators and so forth. I talked to numerous people before I even made any decisions because I believe in getting information. Okay. So this came from the kids. Not only that, our previous interim manager even said Commissioner Sanders did the work. She did the data already. She went to the schools, got all the information. The kids did surveys. They said what they wanted and what they did not want. I also went to the Innovation Youth Center that just was built last year in Douglas County. I toured it. I toured the youth facility in Douglas County, and I spoke to all of the leaders and how it was implemented and all of the nonprofits that are for it. You can go watch this video. I sent the video to the Board of Commissioners, and one of the things that one of those advisors said, she's also an advisor for substance abuse and mental health, working with the youth, getting them off the streets. You know what she said? One of the things she said was, stop making decisions for kids stop building buildings for children, not including them and getting their opinion, because they are the ones who are going to occupy the building. The problems that we have is adults want what they want, but don't listen to the kids to find out what they want. And then you wonder why you're across the street from one of the largest subdivisions in Newton County and you can't fulfill the needs fulfill your program. Not only did the teachers, administrators, and the children say they didn't want it, I had parents whose kids used to go to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm going to say it again. I had parents respond to me whose children used to go to the Boys and Girls Club and provided feedback to me. And those parents lived in District 3 and provided feedback and told me the real deal of what's going on over there. Even told me that one of them told me that their child had a job over there and she had to go fight to get her child paid. You heard what I said. So this didn't come from Commissioner Sanders. This came from research from the children who said they don't like it, didn't want it, and then they outlined what programming they want. This came from parents, administrators, and teachers. This didn't come from me. See, I listen to my constituents, my neighbors. I listen to the people who are going to occupy the building, and that's the kids. I still have those surveys. Not only did I do a survey with the kids, I did another community group with the parents to bring their kids, but mostly parents were there, and parents filled out that same form and told me what they wanted. And it was nothing like the Boys and Girls Club. These kids even informed me how they wanted it to look, from the walls to having happy colors, from the scenery. They wanted open scenery. They want green screen technology. They want to be able to do podcasts and radio shows. They wanted a Starbucks feel, because some of them that go to the STEM Academy, if you go to the STEM Academy, Career Academy here in Newton, they have like a little Starbucks, little shop where they can go in, drink their cappuccino, whatever it may be. My daughter went there, so that's how I know it's in the building. And that's why we had the meeting with the kids to give me the feedback. And they wanted that inside the building because some of the schools don't have that. So they wanted that cappuccino feel to where they can have a place to go and do their homework and talk to their actual peers. They wanted a game room, just like they have in Douglas County Innovation Center. They asked for that before I even went to Douglas County. It was just a shocker that when I went to Douglas County, they had everything that I was thinking that these kids wanted. Even the partnerships with the local nonprofits, not going to get a well-known nonprofit that makes billions of dollars. And I might be exaggerating, but if you look at the research, and I forward that over to the Board of Commissioners, the Boys and Girls Club is one of the richest nonprofits in the world. That came from an article of them writing and doing research on the nonprofits and how they collect money yearly. And the Boys and Girls Club collects so much money that they can build their own Boys and Girls Club. They don't even need county resources. They don't even need county resources to do so. If you go research in other areas, they don't depend on the county's funding. They don't depend on that to keep the Boys and Girls Club going. They don't do that. And so we are looking to have Newton County fund this project when we have a Parks and Rec board. That's what Commissioner Henderson said. We have a Parks and Rec board. We have local nonprofits that also offer their services to assist. Why are we going out when we have local nonprofits who deal with children? We have local nonprofits who deal with mental illness. We have local nonprofits who already have programming in place. So why are we overlooking the local businesses and nonprofits in Newton County and going out when we could create something wonderful here in Newton County? That's when all, excuse my language again, hell broke loose on this board when I did not go with the agenda. Let me break down the Boys and Girls Club. Before I won this race, my predecessor, Nancy Schultz, while she was a commissioner, sat on the board of the Boys and Girls Club. And I said to them, that is a conflict that you're trying to give this money to the, because if God didn't bless me to succeed this position, Commissioner Schultz will still be sitting in place, and that money will be going to the Boys and Girls Club, and she sat on the board and still sits on the board. That's a conflict. So I'm not understanding where we don't see conflicts and why we won't do government right. So why we can't do government right. So she currently still sits on the board. You had residents who wrote letters. Not only did you have student feedback, administrators' feedback, teachers' feedback, parent feedback, you had constituents who wrote letters saying they did not want their tax dollars going to an outside nonprofit and they wanted Newton County to run it. So why would this commissioner go against her constituents in her district to do something differently? This is not my agenda. It's the people's agenda. Now let's take it a little farther. After that meeting that I had with the previous county attorney and the county manager, I caught hell. I couldn't even get anything to move because I did not go with the agenda. I did not go with the agenda that they want. What programs did the kids request? I did not go. I'll make sure I read all of those. I did not go with the agenda they. I think I already answered that question. I'm sorry, I didn't answer that question. I did not go with the agenda that they want, and they've been asking me ever since. If you go with the Boys and Girls Club, we'll do this. If you go with the Boys and Girls Club, we do that. As you can see, my opponent constantly keeps pushing the Boys and Girls Club. Then let's also look at this. Let's go a little farther. We had a $100,000 master plan created for Parks and Recreation for Newton County. You, as the taxpayers, paid $100,000. It was like 95,000 or 90,000 in between the 100,000 mark. It was like 90,000 or so. You, the taxpayers, paid for that. That 500-page document that was constructed for you to tell you where your parks and rec should be located. And then to survey the land to tell you where the people are located, to tell you it's the best place to put a park because you have children, to tell you, you had subject matter experts tell you where this should be located. So why are we trying to go against what the subject matter experts stated? Your kids, and after that happened, now they want to say it's not a District 3 project anymore. After I have emails from our county manager, county attorney, all of them saying, Commissioner, yeah, this is the District 3 project. But because I didn't go with the Boys and Girls Club, now they want to say it's a West Side project. And then my predecessor sends an email saying where she wants it to go. Let me explain government. When you're no longer in office, you don't have the authority to overstep the current commissioner that's in place. If you didn't complete the project, it falls in the hands of that current commissioner. If you didn't complete the project, it falls in the hands of that current commissioner. Before I came on this board, and I did not agree with the Boys and Girls Club, the commissioners, and Commissioner Henderson said this numerous times, he said, we never went against a district commissioner on what they wanted in their community because they are the ones who talk to their people. We have never done that. So that's why you see commissioners now voting and placing things in my district, voting against it because of that one little thing, the Boys and Girls Club, and I don't follow on their agenda and I call them out on what's happening. That's the whole situation. Now, the master plan says it needs to go on Fairview Corridor. The master plan states it should go on the Fairview Corridor. But my opponent is pushing Cook Road. Do your research and find out who owns property on Cook Road. And that's all I'm going to say. Do your research and find out who are the property owners that have land on Cook Road. My opponent is pushing a location where there's no kids. You guys have driven on Cook Road. You're going to have children from the western side. You say it's a west side project. And now you're trying to include Cook Road. All of a sudden, I've never heard in the 3.5 years I've been here that Cook Road was a part of the west side of Newton. Now, all of a sudden, Cook Road is a part of the west side of Newton. And I found out who owned property on the west side of Newton County. See, this you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Now you see why I fight for y'all so hard, and I'm so transparent. And I know I heard one constituent say, if y'all say transparent one more time and y'all not being transparent, I get it. I completely get it. Because y'all tired of the government. I completely get it. I'm tired of the government too not doing right. I'm not tired of serving, but I'm tired of people using and abusing their power. And the only people that's being hurt are the people in the county. Okay. So go and research who owns property on Cook Road, and that's going to give you your answer on why they pushing so hard to move this Boys and Girls Club. Why they pushing so hard to move the youth facility to Cook Road and the park, and why they pushing so hard for a Boys and Girls Club. I can give you background on all of that, facts on why. There's personal interest in all of this. And so the master plan says it's supposed to be on Fairview Corridor. Fairview Corridor. That's what the master plan says. Fairview Corridor. Why would you put a park, recreation, a youth facility in an area where there's no children? The whole point is to help our kids and get them acclimated to new things and programming. Why would you want to put a park and a youth facility in an area with no kids? See, this is why I tell you guys, I fight for people, not power. But you have people who are fighting for power and running for office for power and not the people. And all of this is facts. You can check on all of this. The reason why they're leaving that $400 million sitting there because they're trying to see what's going to happen to me during this election so they can use that $4 million to build the park where they want to build it, to build the youth facility where they want to build it, possibly Cook Road. Go research who the owners are on Cook Road. It's going to tell you. It's going to give you a full insight of what's happening on Cook Road. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I just can't believe it. You're going to be like, oh my God. There are always agendas, and y'all need to recognize that. If the master plan that you all paid for $90,000 from a subject matter expert telling you that all your children in the Fairview corridor, and you're going to try to put it in a area that's rural, where the kids will have to cross the interstate to get there, and majority of your kids, the parents work, so they won't be able to get to the park. They don't hardly go to Denny Dobbs, Turner Lake, and all those places now. So we're trying to fulfill. Do you know I'm part of this program again when I'm with NACO, and I had to travel to Ohio. Do you know at Ohio? I think we were in Cleveland. Were we in Cleveland? I think we were in Cleveland. I think it was Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland. We were in Ohio. I can't remember which part we were in. They have Parks and Rec within every 5 miles of a resident. So basically, every 5 miles of that subdivision, they have parks and recreation because they know parks and recreation deter crime. They know parks and recreation get your kids something to do. So when they're not thinking about robbing your car, doing anything, or busting out lights like they did in Fairview Estates, Fairview Community Park, they just didn't have nothing to do and just burst the lights, the brand new lights that I put in there with snapping shows in the Park and Rec. You just burst all the lights because you had nothing to do. That was a statement that came from even Parks and Rec. The kids say he had nothing to do. So you won't get children doing that because you're going to give them something productive. That's where we need it in that area. You want to talk about crime. You want to talk about various things, but you don't want to give the children anything to do in the area? How selfish is that? You're more so worried about personal interests. Who are you going to please? What favors you have to give to someone in order thinking about the community? So I came on tonight to break down this Boys and Girls Club because I keep hearing it over and over from my opponent. I heard it from tonight. I was told they talked about it tonight. It was talked about at an HOA meeting, and I got asked questions because there were lines out there that said I denied the Boys and Girls Club. No, the people denied the Boys and Girls Club. The people who took the surveys, the kids with schools I went to, the teachers I talked to, the parents who said that the kids that get paid and says it's not an effective program. When you put it across the street from one of the largest subdivisions and you can't even get the kids across the street to go, and it's also in a location, the same parking lot of a school, you can't even get those kids to leave school and go there, that lets you know your program is not effective. There's research that lets you know your program is not effective. So Commissioner Sanders is coming on tonight to give you the real deal. Share this video with whomever it may be. All I can do is be transparent. That's why people try to send me cease and desist and try to sue me because I won't be quiet. See, that's what they do when you don't be quiet and you get ready to tell the information. They try to send you cease and desist and try to sue you for frivolous lawsuits because you tell them the truth. Yes, that's currently happening. So do your open records, do your research, go drive along Cook Road, and you tell me if you should put a youth facility or a park on Cook Road. Now, let me say this for the residents that are on the northern side. What you do have is 120 acres of land. I'm excited about that. You saw how I smiled about it. 120 acres of land that was donated to us to build a nature park, that we can also put a building, a camp, a log cabin. It used to be I think a horse stable and so forth. It's in a conservatory, which means there's individuals that watch this land for us to make sure we don't build any houses on it. So the only thing they say we could build on it is a nature park. And it has streams. It's beautiful and peaceful. I can see walking alongside it with the benches on the side, you sitting there, and each part of the area has information for the kids in regards to science, to say, hey, in this area we have these certain types of trees, certain types of bugs, and you're doing research. It could be a whole different ball game for our kids in Newton County. That's what you have on the west side. And 40 of those acres is in Rockdale. And so I have been working with the commissioner in Rockdale County, Sherry Washington, that's her area, Commissioner Sherry Washington, and we went through the park. I went through it twice, and then the second time we brought Parks and Rec from Newton and Parks and Rec from Rockdale. We walked through it, we brainstormed on what we can do and come together. But guess what? Newton County, because Rockdale was trying to already get OSOP to help fund their side, and I wouldn't say their side, to help fund the park so we could build a nature park. But Newton refuses to move forward. And that's free 120 acres of land. So that's why they try to shut me up. That's why you hear the narratives and false propaganda. It's because I'm going to tell you the truth. I just want to give you a homework assignment. My homework assignment for you is to drive down Cook Road. Furthermore, we never asked the residents in the area what they wanted. We didn't ask the residents on the northern side of District 3 to see if they wanted a youth facility and a park. You never had a conversation with them. The only conversation that was had was with the residents on the west side, because it's called West Side Youth Facility, on the side where majority of people are, the density, the houses that you're trying to build more of, where the kids are, and 3 to 4 schools in the Fairview corridor. You have Clements Elementary. You have Fairview Elementary. No, Clements Middle School, Fairview Elementary, Live Oak Elementary, Newton High. It's right there in that box. So you mean to tell me you don't want to put a park and a youth facility where 4 schools are located, but you rather put it in an area where there are no schools and no people? Tell me if that makes sense. Make it make sense to me. It makes no sense. And that's why we have professionals who came and told us where it's supposed to be located. I don't even know, well, I know why. My opponent is pushing Cook Road. Your homework is to do this. Research who owns the property on Cook Road. hmm Research who owns the property on Cook Road. That's going to give you your answer. And number two, just drive down Cook Road and you tell me, should a youth facility and Parks and Rec be located on Cook Road when there's no kids? You think the kids are not going to the Boys and Girls Club? They definitely will be going to a big, huge building that's going to be $8 million or more, because we have $12 million that's total to build a park and a youth facility. We can build them together. I have been preaching. It was the senior services, the second senior services was supposed to be in District 3. You want to know why it's not in District 3? It's because they were trying to put it on land that was going to be that was valued at one price, but they wanted to pay 50% more of the cost of the facility. And so I said, no, you turned down property that we could have had this youth facility built on, where she only went over less than, I think it was 7% of the cost. It was in between 7 to 13%. I can't remember exactly, but it was no way near 50%. It was a negotiation tactic. You want to pay 50% over the cost from some land, because the youth facility, the community center, all of that was supposed to be together. And then we had Parks and Rec. I'm going to break this down to you again. I was called into a meeting in 2022. I was called into a meeting in 2022 with our previous interim county manager, Jarvis Sims, senior services, Parks and Rec, and our project manager. The meeting was for us to work together, because guess what? Commissioner Sanders had her friend who's an architect, hi Pepe, who designed, I paid out of my pocket, the county didn't pay for it, who designed the youth facility that had a community center, senior services on one side, in the middle was community services, where it had event center, a black box theater, workout at the top, a workout center. It had also for commercial, where the building would pay for itself, so where it wouldn't be it would be cost effective, to where you would have commercial in there, maybe a Smoothie King, that was my thought, Smoothie King or whatever smoothie place. You could have probably had a doctor in there for the seniors to have their medical services in there. I had it designed also to have an incubator, to where those who work from home, they had a conference room and offices. And I also had I had spoken to one of the reps from Meta, Facebook, they're in our area. I said, I would love to have a technology room that's sponsored by Facebook, where you make the whole room technologically savvy, so that our students can go in there. That's a Facebook room. I designed that in 2021. And my friend who is a architect, who designs cathedrals, malls, and all these big things, designed it for me. And I paid him to do the service. And I presented that to the Board of Commissioners. And that design is kind of a little bit similar to what they built at Spring Hill Community Park on a smaller scale. Okay. And it's also posted in the Parks and Rec office. My design, my idea for District 3 community. I did that in 2021. Actually, it was also put in the paper. My entire design for the community. It also had a skate park, not the skate park that's at Denny Dobbs. Our kids over here in District 3 in the West Side love skating rinks. So it had a skating rink in it. All of that was designed, and the estimated cost total was like 12 million, 13 million. What we have now? Yeah, let me break it down. In 2017, the commissioners, of course, back then had $495,000 per district. Okay, that's I want you to do the math, write it down. $495,000 per district. Okay. Then the excess funds, that means the overage from the Splash 2017, our district was given, while I was in office, $3.7 million. So now we at $4.1 million, right? We're at $4.1 million. Commissioner Sanders, in 2022, applied for a congressional grant that we were awarded, that's sitting there waiting for us, that the county won't move on. That's $4 million. You with me? Now we're at $8 million, almost at $9 million. So in the 2023 splosh, that is a bonded project, okay? We received 3.7 million or 3.1 million additional, which made $12 million we have waiting to move forward with a park and a youth facility. And then I was going to have, since I was called into that meeting to work with senior services, we were going to put our money together. But let me tell you what happened during the Splosh 2023 meeting. Our project manager tried to cut out our community center and only wanted to move forward with the senior services. I just so happened to be at that meeting. I said, wait a minute. You're not going to cut out District 3. I'm sorry, you're not going to do that. And so I said, we had a meeting. I said, it's at the Splosh meeting. It's recorded. It's on tape. I said, you called me into a meeting to where we was going to combine these projects together. So why are you building one and not the other? And because I called that out, that's what happened. We was going to combine our efforts and funding where it could have been great to build all of them together, because the senior services were supposed to be in District 3 because District 3 has the most seniors. So because they were trying to get a building 50% over the value, and I said I would not agree to us paying 50% over the value that was assessed for this property. We had someone go out and give us the value of the property and how much it costs. And I guess the owner said they wanted 50% more than what was actually quoted, and they were willing to pay for it. I said, no, I'm not going with it. I informed the residents and I told you about it. And then I guess to punish me, I don't know, they didn't even look for more land in District 3, which all of it could have been on one property. And I said that. I said, you could have had, I designed the community center, senior services, youth facility all together. Just imagine a one-stop shop. Counties now are doing one-stop shops. They're not having the senior services over here, community center here, youth facility here. They're doing one-stop shops. So think about it. If you're a parent and we have a workout center, you can be upstairs working out while your child is in a youth facility. See, that's how I was thinking, because I'm a mother. If you're a senior and you come to senior services and there may be the doctor you're going to, they're inside of senior services. So you can go to the doctor, and then when you finish going to the doctor, go back to senior services. The 2 shuttles that we just bought, that was my project. You know, we have 2 shuttles, right? Brand new shuttles that are just sitting there, because I asked for those shuttles to be bought to take our kids on trips. Those shuttles are dedicated to the West Side Youth Facility. That's all it can be used for. That's what it's supposed to be used for. Now, what they're doing with the shuttles, I have no idea at this moment. I need to check on it, but it's supposed to be used for the youth and the West. And once the West Side Youth Facility is built, it's supposed to go to the West Side Youth Facility, and that's it. That's what was in ARPA funds. That was my project. That came out of my project, the ARPA funds. It was the shuttles and the Newton County Youth Commission. That was my baby. Those were the initiatives that I had from the projects when we had the $1 million allocated, and I asked for those projects to still be on ARPA, and we voted to approve those projects. So we have 2 shuttles, brand new shuttles, that are sitting at the fleet department for the kids. And of course, we're about to have the first graduation of the Newton County Youth Commission. The first time we've ever had a program like that is when I came on board. And I just have to say that, because I was told that I haven't done anything in the county. Okay. And so that facility could have been a one-stop shop. So because they didn't go find more land in District 3, I guess to punish me, I don't know. You're not punishing me, people. You're hurting the people. They found land in District 2. And it was free land on Denny Dodds Park, at Denny Dodds Park. I didn't even fight about it because it was free land. I wasn't going to fight about it. I wasn't going to say anything. I even asked Ms. Frieda. I said, are you guys okay with it? Commissioner Henderson asked her, are y'all cool with it? Senior Services okay with it? Even I voted for it. It was a 5-0 vote. You didn't hear me say anything, because I'd rather for them it to be on free land than to be on land that the county that the commissioners would agree to pay 50% over the cost. I wasn't going to agree with that. I was not going to be a part of that. So I guess they were upset and they put it in the other district. I didn't vote against it, moved on. Senior services. Now, the second phase of senior service is going to be at the Denny Downs Park in District 2. It was supposed to be in District 3, based on the subject matter expert, because majority of your seniors live in District 3. So that's me breaking down all of the information for you. So residents, because I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, YouTube. Y'all follow me in all parts, and I think Nextdoor needs to get a live, so we can do that as well. So I wanted to break that down to you to give you the facts, because this Boys and Girls Club has made it, it's became a story of its own. Everybody has given it its own story on why Commissioner Sanders had moved forward with the Boys and Girls Club. Commissioner Sanders had nothing to do with moving forward the Boys and Girls Club. The community, the people who spoke out, the parents who spoke out, the kids who spoke out, and also where the park was going to be located, the Monk property. The residents of District 3 voted to place it there. Not Commissioner Sanders. The residents of District 3 voted. The consultant had a meeting, an interest meeting with the district. One was to decide on the amenities. District 3 had the most participants out of all the districts that showed up for Parks and Rec. So the first meeting was to select what amenities you wanted, whether you wanted it to be a community center, you wanted a pool, it was a whole bunch of amenities on the boards, and you had to pick your top 3. The resident in District 3 did that. Then they came back out for another meeting. I think it was 5 locations that were presented, and they selected their top 3, and then I was told the top 2 will be, but you had the people select 3, but you only gave them 2. That didn't make any sense. And you didn't give them the top 2. The Monk property and the property on Womack were the top 2 properties that were selected by the district. But you gave them a property, you gave them the Monk property and a property on the northern side of District 3. What happened with that was the property owner pulled out. It didn't make sense. I don't know the property owner, never spoke to the property owner, didn't coerce anything, never had a conversation. The property owner pulled out. Then I came back and said, what about the property on Womack? Because that was the second property that the people selected. You know what I was told by the project manager? Now, y'all going to have to help me with this one and how it didn't make any sense. He said all of the owners didn't agree to sell. So why would you present a property to the Board of Commissioners and the people of Newton County when you didn't have all the owners on board to sell? That's what he said about the property on Womack. He just told me that last month when I went to the SPLOST meeting. I said, I'm confused. Why would you have these residents vote on a property, and that property was a second choice? Why would you even present that before the Board of Commissioners when all of the owners didn't agree to sell? You can't make this up. Exactly, Dana. Why did we waste our time voting when they were yes? Why would you bring a property to the constituency of District 3, to the board, the policymakers? This is our project manager y'all pay thousands of dollars to monthly, who makes money, who's still making money off of projects that don't even move. And I keep it real. And I said it in the Board of Commissioners meeting. Newton County needs a full-time project manager and stop paying consultants. Hire a project manager that works for Newton County. I did research. We did some research, and I believe 1 month that project manager made like $30,000. If I'm lying, go pull the records. Newton County needs a full-time project manager that sits in the county that helps us with projects like other counties have. And then with project managers, if they're consultants, they're supposed to do an RFP per project. You don't just keep a person who's a consultant on to work every project in the county when there's no RFPs put in place for somebody else to be a project manager or giving them the opportunity to apply for different projects. I have not seen an RFP put in place to select another project manager on another project. I have, and that's our process in Newton County. That's our policies in Newton County. I have not seen it. We've been using the same project manager. We have been using the same project manager since I've been in office in 2021. And there has not been an RFP process to select a new project manager. We have had different projects, and there's never been an RFP process put out for a new project manager. And I see the same builders, same people over and over again. I speak truth. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. So I asked them that question, why would you bring property to the legislative body, the policymakers, the decision makers of the county, and then ask the people to vote, and all of the owners on the property didn't agree to sell? Somebody's going to have to make that make sense to me, because I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And that's why they come for me, because I speak truth to you. I'm going to tell you the real deal. I am not going to go back and forth with my opponent on stuff that I already know. I'm sitting in the position currently. I see what's happening. I see what's happening. She may know the things that's happening because she's the attorney to the chairman. She has inside scoop. She's the attorney to the chairman. She's his business partner with the trucking company. She has inside scoop. I get it. I'm not fighting for power here in Newton County. Do you know how much commissioners make? I'm not fighting for power. I'm fighting for people. I'm fighting for truth and what's supposed to be right. See, that's why they send me cease and desist. That's why they try to say, we're going to sue you if you don't shut up. And I can show you the paperwork. Because they don't want you to know. They want me to be quiet. They want me to sit there like a butterfly and don't say anything and just vote on the project. I am not going to do that. God didn't put me in this position